Now boarding for Rebuild of JoyCast, your weekly destination for anime, manga, and more.
Come on, ride the train. Hey, ride it. I didn't know we were gonna have a cool train intro outro. Did you actually listen to our first episode?
I did listen to the intro actually. But then I was like, I was there. I don't need to watch it.
It's kind of sick. Yeah.
It is actually. I really liked it. Good job, Steena.
What is up, Val? My Nakama, if you will.
I'm back from work. I'm tired. I had a big dinner. And I've drank some water. I'm ready to talk about whatever the fuck we have up today. Of course.
Yeah. Definitely some things are the F up. Speaking of the N-word, NFTs has just popped off in our little neck of the woods right now. Let's not name names. Let's not start any witch hunts. But because this is more of a generalized issue than a one general person issue, this freaking NFT group just sprang up overnight, and they're talking about, oh yeah, just record your you can buy and own your own favorite voice actor's voice. Yikes!
Wait, that's what that is?
Yeah. So here's how it goes. They're essentially, like I said, we're not gonna name any person. You can look that up yourself on Twitter, because we don't know who. We know one prominently stood up on this. Yikes! But I know there's some people who are secretly doing this. So the whole company's whole motto here, how their mode of business is that popular voice actor records their voice. They have an AI generated module. What do we call? I know them as VO codes. You can literally look this up, called vocode.com. You can type in a character's name and you type. It's like word to speech. It's janky. It's cringe as hell, but it's funny. They want to take it to the next level and sell it to you personally. The fact that I could, Val, let's say you do. You won't, because you know this is BS. But let's say you were on this platform. I could buy your voice. Let's say you betrayed me one day. And you said, I don't want to be in Abridged Parodies anymore. And I'm like,
I drop you in the bin like Woody in Toy Story 2.
As you should. But you don't want to be in Abridged Parodies anymore. And I'm like, screw you, Val. I know you're on this platform. I can buy the rights to your voice.
Surely it's not like the absolute rights to it. Like there must be some kind of specific.
Not the absolute rights, but I have the right to use you going into a VO code, and then whatever the fuck comes out of that, I can use to my heart's content. I can purchase that.
Okay. So let me see. So I could say put up the reverse flash meme. My voiceover, the reverse flash meme. On
specifically. So that's the way. That's the best way to describe it. Specifically from just a recording of you from the reverse flash meme. Whatever, as much sound as the VO code can grab from that, I can buy the rights to that voice.
Wait. How much money would I make? No, I'm not really gonna get into this.
We shouldn't get the logistics, but I would assume you would make a decent amount of money.
I would hope so. That's a big meme.
That being said, they're gonna sell it to me at a premium, and you're not gonna get royalties. Maybe you do. Maybe you could get a deal for royalty, but I don't think that's the case.
All I want is royalties. That's all I actually want. I really want a gig where
now,
I get
imagine I'm tired. Now that I own this, and imagine wow, I paid a premium for this just for your flash meme. And I've already used, and I'm done with the bridging, and I don't need your voice anymore. I'm tired. Now I throw your voice into the bin like Woody. I don't want to play with your voice anymore. I sell the rights to your voice to the KKK. And they use your voice in a bunch of commercials.
This went very extreme, very quickly. Jesus.
We have to demonstrate how stupid this is. Your voice is out in the ether. You no longer see a cent after you sold that one right. And now your voice is getting traded around to productions that you don't necessarily approve of. It's pretty effed.
No, I don't like the sound of that. Because I very much have a code of conduct.
We know how done NFTs are. We know they are environmentally irresponsible. We know that principally they are stupid. We're just talking about this one instance of how it works with voice actors selling the rights to their voice. This is dumb.
Kind of.
This is career suicide for some people who have just announced. Like, that better be a big paycheck that you're selling. This better be the future of your career, because yikes.
I mean, in all frankness, we both know it's not us that really make them. It's the fact that he's like, it's on Twitter and everything. He's still gonna work. He's you know, they are who they are. We both know that they're gonna keep on going.
Yeah, they are who they are. They're still going to get work, but I still feel like this is some shot in the toe. Which now, and that's the real reason why I really want to have this discussion now. This is a demonstration of how much the voice acting industry fails voice actors. The fact that this big name in voice acting can sit there and go and weigh their options and go, I could risk shooting myself in the foot, and this paycheck or this potential profit or whatever actual profit I'm going to receive right now from this Ponzi scheme is going to make me more money than I ever could for the rest of my career in voice acting. Think of it that way.
I mean,
like, shame on NFTs for being just stupid, but shame on the industry for making it that easy to jump onto stuff like this. This could, I mean, let's say that NFTs, they're not. Well, let's say they're not environmentally irresponsible, and this is not a problem. There's no repercussions for doing this, and that VO code doesn't sound jank and cheap and weird and robotic. It works perfectly as technology continues to advance. Is this not a threat to the voice acting industry? Should they not be shaking in their boots right now? Or are they saying themselves, good riddance, we're gonna buy those rights ourselves? This is getting terrifying.
This reminds me, what you're talking about with this VO code thing, I saw people talking about how AI voices have become more advanced, and are you aware of Watch Dogs Legion?
That's a video game by Ubisoft, right?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And it's the first video game, I believe, probably not. Most definitely not in the time the video game's been around. But it's the most recent game that has prominently featured AI voice acting from computers. Voices just made up in the computer.
Yes.
Not actually really real people, except for maybe a few characters and like guest star appearances. Like, I think, what's his name? Dre or something? Was in it? I can't remember who. Stormzy, I think it is. Stormzy. Yeah, a rapper. But that was like a big thing in that game. They were like, we don't have voice actors, we have AI voices, completely made in the computer so that we can have a bunch of different voices that are so unique to the specific character that you have, because their whole thing was like, you die, you jump into a new character that you can like recruit and all that stuff. And everyone hated it. Everyone hated it. It was bad, janky, it didn't go well, and voice actors were pissed off, obviously, because they decided, rather than actually like going out and hiring the talent, because Ubisoft's a big fucking company, they decided, we're gonna make computers, computer voices, gonna be free.
The funny thing is, of all companies, Ubisoft is the one that's like most prominently on the NFT game. And they're losing so much money right now.
I am not surprised.
But I don't keep up with video games, but I was aware of this concept that actually, like, principally, again, because E3 is nothing but is another version of snake oil selling. That game principally looked interesting. But the whole fact that you die, you move on to the next character, and there's just so many random characters generated, that is where an AI voice generator is pretty practical. In regards to video game, in terms of creative content, because we also would be remiss not to mention that there is a field where AI voice generation is on the fly. Practical is very important, and that's medicine. Specifically, not just people who don't have a voice, but for translation on the fly. That's actually really important, and that's where that technology needs to be applied. But in art? What the hell?
No, exactly. I completely agree. I mean, in video gaming, like, there's plenty of things that are, like, randomized, created by computers, level design. There are entire games built around procedurally generated rooms and things like that, which, you know, there's a general layout, but then it just, like, switches it around randomly with, you know, not all that much, like, idea of, like, level design, I guess. Dungeon crawlers, for example. It's just rooms, and occasionally there's a big room. Did you ever play Pokemon Mystery Dungeon? That game freaking
Hell yeah.
rocked. That game rocked.
That
God.
game's awesome.
It's so goddamn good. God. I want to play Mystery Dungeon again. But I'm not on board with NFTs, really. Do I hate them as much as some people know? Because, quite frankly, I'm stupid and I don't understand the technology really that well. But I know they're bad for the environment. I know that people can just steal someone's art and be like, this is an NFT. I made an NFT. I own it now. In some weird way. I make money off of it in some weird way. I don't understand how it works. I sell it to this man for money. Whatever. I don't get it, really.
Val, no one can blame you for not understanding or even caring.
Exactly.
To an extent. Because it's so dumb. It is so dumb, it doesn't make sense that this... besides the framework of capitalism, it doesn't make sense why this got as far as it did.
As of the time of editing this episode, VoiceVerse NFT, the company discussed, is already reported on having stolen from several non-NFT AI-generated voice vocal banks. We are living in hell.
I have a friend, even, who, like, messaged me. He was like, hey, I bought this NFT. Like, a personal friend, like a friend since childhood and things. Like,
yeah.
I bought this NFT because it looked like you. And I was like, how much did you buy this for? $500. Do you know whether or not you'll make it? Because I don't understand. I'm like, how does this work? Do you know you'll make a return on it? Like, I don't know. It's like, and you bought it because it looked like me. Yeah. What the fuck?
Hey, bro, if you got 500s to burn like that, like, good for you.
I know. It's like, I was kind of confused on it. I'm just like, whatever. It's your money. I just...
You know what you could get for cheaper?
I literally... Wait, I might have blood on my hands in some way, Ivan. This is the friend I bought my computer off of. Because I was going to get a brand new one, but he was like, I'm done with computers
was it
right
your
now.
money? He used it with your money?
It was probably my money. It was probably my money.
You're done. You're done. Get off our fucking show.
Ivan, what are you doing with that gun?
I don't know which one to shoot. You or the NFT just looks so much like you.
But no, I've actually sat here now. I'm like, wait a minute, I just bought a fucking computer off of him, motherfucker.
Well, let's kind of roll up this yarn that we've just unspooled. There's a lot to unpack here. Let's get back to how it stays relevant to the voice acting in anime. Because my God, we can't talk about this right now, but we just before the show we were talking about a particular session you just had.
We were.
And just about how the constraints of budget during production. Like, you have to balance so many voice actors and so many salaries and so much time. And so you're not everyone is going to feel like they had the most fulfilling recording session. It's just the cost and effect of art and business. You can't make the art without the business. And it's getting to that point now where it's like, are we going to see some of the lesser roles get taken over? Like, is it more cost effective to use these background voices, the AI generated voices? Is it going to be? Are we reach a point where we're only going to cast the larger roles and then the supplementary roles? And if that's the case, are the actual people who are there, the people who still get to record, are they going to make more? Are they going to have more time to record and have a more fulfilling recording session and really push it and make the most of that free time and money? Or is the anime industry, at least the way that I know it, the way that I abhor it, this is just going to be more penny pinching and we're going to practically replace everybody? And it's just going to be a money generating machine. The last traces of art are going to be gone. We're not even going to need the voice actors anymore. And even if we do keep the bigger roles, the small roles where the big names of tomorrow are, that's where they experiment. That's where they learn and train. And that's where they get their experience and eventually rise through the ranks. Those opportunities are now gone. where the hell are we going here?
You and I always use, what's his name? He's one of our favorites. Immortal Sugimoto, Golden Kamui. Ian Sinclair.
Why is my name blanking right now?
Ian
That's
Sinclair.
Horrible. Ian Sinclair, our boy Ian.
Our boy Ian. Our mutual, one of our favorite voice actors.
Our mutual favorite, yes. If the horrific dystopian future that I just described happens, you will never get a voice actor like Ian Sinclair ever again.
A man who,
you
frankly,
just will not.
He has been in voiceovers a long time, but, quite frankly, as far as I knew, he was never in anything super prominent as like a really main character for a while. But I always heard him in the background of things like Full Metal Alchemist, many other things, and I was always like, oh man, that guy's got a distinctive voice. And they're just like in the background or something like that.
Yeah, because again, that's how it works. You have to work your way up. You have to develop a rapport. You got to get your reps in. But if the opportunities for reps are not there, if a guy like Ian Sinclair was trying to rise through the ranks today, not today, tomorrow, the quote unquote dystopian future when this likely happens because Sony purchases Crunchyroll for $1 billion, but they can barely afford to send out kits to their voice actors during the pandemic to record in safe remote conditions. Such a wonderful voice actor would never have a chance. They would never have a chance. And you need to, because if you don't offer that chance anymore, there's no more art anymore. The last traces of art in this industry is in the anime itself, the animation, which, give it time, they'll try to figure out how to AI generate that too.
How about a little, if you want, I can go over a bit of how an ADR session goes, even.
Go for it, yeah, go for it.
What happens in an ADR session? Typically, in an ADR session, you are allotted when an email is sent out that you have a role. I'm not going to say any roles that I have or specifically about anything I do because...
NDA. Another N-word.
NDA. You know, for a while, I felt so silly and really dumb, but for some reason, I kept on saying MDMA, which is a drug. I just would always accidentally say that first until I corrected myself for ages. Point is though, when you do get that role, whatever that role might be, whether it be a background character, some walla, where you're just like a voice in the background of just some random people doing whatever, being like, oh no, I can't find my socks, or what's going on here? Doing voices like that, anything. You will be allotted an amount of time of which your session will take, whether that be an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, doesn't matter. Usually longer sessions are for main characters, 3 hours, main characters. 2 hours, you're someone in an episode or whatever, so they can have a bit of time to get that stuff down, make sure the ADR is all nice and clean, there's no problems. So what happens is you're allotted that time, and the director, usually because obviously there's a budget to meet and they've allotted you that amount of time, they aim very much to not go over that amount of time. They really want to get it done. So the fact of the matter is, this is something that I've thought, and I'm not going to badmouth anyone because I think all the directors I have been really great, really tried. But it is up to you as an actor. This is just a bit of advice. It is up to you as an actor sometimes, even though it might be hard. You have to take that line, because sometimes they might be that take was fine. That take was good. Moving on to the next thing. Oh, you don't want another take? No. Moving on ahead. Okay then, they're the director, they're the boss. You gotta listen to them, obviously. So what happens is, you really have to take that line, and you need to make it as good as freaking possible, because sometimes there might not be a chance you have to do it again and really perfect it in the middle of a session, is what I'm saying. And this is exactly the point. Those time constraints and everything, like you said, which would be better if they just threw in, say, some AI voice actors in the background of a walla that's no one's really going to take in. I've done walla, as you know, on Full Dive and Dragon Ghost House Hunting, 2 shows which I'm really happy that I even had the chance to, because they're my first official anime voiceover roles, I guess. Just background guy, a guy who got his hand cut off. I think you know, or I told you, I believe, I got to voice act in a scene directly opposite Johnny on Bosch, you know. And that's like a guy that I grew up watching. Bleach, Trigun, all that, that's sick. But it wouldn't surprise me when you've said this now, it is actually very likely that companies will start not doing it for main characters and prominent characters with more than a few lines, but AI voice acting these background and walla characters, because no one really takes that and goes, oh man, who the hell was that guy? Except for the old guy out like Ian frickin' Sinclair, who, like I said, is one of my beloved actors. So, yeah, now that you've said all of this, I'm actually like, shit, this could be real in like 10 years.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
They're trying to make human talent cost effective. And what they mean by cost effective, it's not even just money. I've also brought up money, time, and when this freaking tweet, when this company was announcing themselves and they were explaining it, they also brought up they as a benefit to they stated this as a benefit of their company, the fact that you can have someone's voice without legal repercussions. Pesky legal repercussions. That's why I brought up the thing about how your voice can be placed in things that would not make you happy.
So I
and you would have no right to fight that. Yeah, hey, don't use my voice there. You won't have that right. Once you've sold it, that's it.
I have a legit question about this. If you know the answer to it, like, I always hear about, and I brought it up earlier, about how people make an NFT out of a piece of art that they actually have nothing to do with. And it's just out there. You know, you can't do anything about it. So could someone simply do this to my voice? Out of the blue. Just take a clip, say, out of My Hero Academia Abridged. They could take the, you know, my pube line out of My Hero Academia Abridged and be like, now you own beautiful Valentine's voice.
Yes. In the same way they do that with art, they could absolutely do this. You could see this start happening. You absolutely could. I go back to that VO code that we use just for memeing and funnies. They're already doing it with professional voices, with clips from shows. So it's only a matter of time before someone figures out a way to monetize this without legal repercussion. Because those the VO code things, those come from copyrighted material shows. But fan content, demo reels, anything that isn't backed by a big company, yeah, you're gonna start seeing some open freaking season. And that's another thing. Sure, this is just one company that might be attempting to go legitimate, but now a bunch of little satellites and people who want a piece of that pie, who aren't going to fly by any personal honor code. They're gonna just rip voices wherever they can find them. Yes, they could do that.
That is scary.
It's disheartening, it's scary, it's infuriating, all for a system that is not even efficient. It's just so dumb in practice. But they do it because everyone is just trying to wet their beak on the next consumer phase. It's not even a consumer phase. Like, go back to Ubisoft. I said that they were losing money off their NFT situation because someone actually hacked in, looked at the numbers. The NFTs that Ubisoft has made so far has been traded between, it has been about, they've made about $300 that's been traded amongst like 16 individuals. And that's it. Like they treat it like this is a big thing, that this is something that anyone's in on. It's really not. That's the part that's really messed up, is that, yeah, some common people, like as your friend who bought an NFT that reminded them of you, it is getting in the hands of the common people, but not as many as you think. It's still not. This is a bunch of people with too much money in their hands trying to force of will a new market that they're on the bleeding edge on. And it's not working. They keep pushing it, and like it's here, like we keep talking about it because it annoys the hell out of people, but it hasn't worked out that well yet. And that's why we gotta keep shitting on it. That's why when these people announce, you gotta stay accountable. And you just can't, and people who are notable need to show some integrity, man, and just not buy into this. For for even just short-term gain here. But again, but I understand the temptation. Again, going back to what I said at the beginning, the anime industry, the VO industry, is it not doing enough to protect their talent? To say why you would be tempted to start investing this when we could lose you as a talent. At the same time, it's like, do they even give a damn about losing that talent? Are they just gonna buy those rights themselves and call it a day? It's just so disgusting to take a human life and start counting the cost effectiveness of your responsibility for that person. I as a director myself, I worry a lot about you guys. That's why I bring up this discussion, because I think about you and I think about all the young guys in our crew and in our circle of influence who are just beginning to break into this industry, and that opportunity could get pulled from them. If not from them, it's gonna be the kids after them. And it's just so upsetting. Because, yes, it's a career, but also, I keep saying it. It is art. It is art. But a robot, I'm sorry. I know that when the robot apocalypse comes, and they've got me, and I got a firing squad of a bunch of Roombas about to fucking take me out, I stand by my words. Robots can't make art. Only humans can. Only humans can. And I consider voice acting, the animation itself, the direction of it, the sound engineering, the man typing on the keyboard and pulling those knobs. That is art. And you start taking this away, and it's going to show. It is really, truly going to show. When that time comes, when the first completely AI-generated TV show or short comes, you're going to see a discernible difference, and it's not going to match up to even just one human person involved in that process. We are on the precipice of a slippery slope. I do not like it.
How do we transition into My Hero Academia from here? I forget. Do you forget we're not?
That's the transition. That's the transition.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. It's our show, Val.
I know.
We can randomly drop a point. Which I will at the end of the show, don't you worry. That's what I'm saying. This is all just a long-winded foreshadowing. I don't want to call it a joke because it's not a joke, but I am playing upon people's expectations upon the title of this episode and the fact that I keep bringing up a certain letter of the alphabet. But back to My Hero Academia. That's the thing people want to hear.
I was about to say yay.
I know Val's getting uncomfortable. Don't worry, you don't have to say anything.
No, I was about to say yay, but I wasn't that into this chapter, admittedly.
No, but we haven't. Like we said at the first episode of this new podcast that we skipped My Hero Academia for a week because for the past couple weeks, ever since the end of the Stars and Stripes fight, we have been spinning our wheels. We're not really doing anything right now. Though that being said, one thing definitely happened as of this week's chapter, and that's All Might is now actually presenting us with the game plan. We're talking about chapter 340, by the way, audience. I keep forgetting that we're not on our live show anymore. We can't just visually pull up the chapter on the screen.
I know.
This is chapter 340. What's happened prior? We'll do a little bit of catch-up. Stars and Stripes sacrificed herself to effectively insert a virus quirk
in the coolest way possible
into Shigaraki and start metabolizing his quirks away and weakening him.
And it was super badass.
It was pretty metal.
It was Kino.
It was the last cool thing to happen, and now for the past 2 months, we're sitting here being told nothing we didn't already know. We knew Aoyama was the traitor. We knew. It was obvious. Any sense of nuance the anime already took away.
I think the only thing that the previous chapter did that actually made me kind of happy is, and it seems to be doing this at the end of every chapter lately, having us have a glimpse of other characters that we'd like to check in on because we haven't seen them for ages.
Well, I mentioned this back during the Class 1A fight versus Vigilante Deku, where this is your last chance to see moment. This is, hey, there's Hatsume. Say hi to Hatsume. Now say goodbye to Hatsume. That last splash page you got, that's the last time you're going to see her. Bye. That's what's happening right now.
Yeah, we're seeing Sun Eater and Fat Gum and Is that Hatsume, the one who hangs out with Sun Eater and Mirio?
No. Hatsume is the support. That was last chapter.
That was it. You're right. Yeah. Who
Where
is
she was
the,
working. She was working. She basically made a new costume. Well, not a brand new costume, but a slightly scaled down. But she made those new gauntlets for Deku.
That's right. Did they reference the movie again?
They don't. They all they say is that the technology comes from America. But that's it.
See, that's what I thought. I was like, oh god, is Ivan gonna get what he wants and like have them talk about the movie?
Nope,
I mean,
they're not gonna put Melissa in there.
No, but we saw
they're not
Sun
gonna
Eater.
Reference her.
We saw Sun Eater, and I don't know if you know this, I really like Sun Eater. I thought Sun Eater was really cool.
I know you really like Sun Eater. Principally, he is one of the most unique characters in this series. He really stands out. He's so meek and shy, but he has the name Sun Eater, which is so many different puns going on at the same time. And the fact that he's such a bombastic, such a look at me name. It wasn't his decision, it was Mirio's. But it's so awesome. He's like the anti-Bakugo in this, where he gave him a positive name. He said, no, you're gonna be Sun Eater, man. You're gonna eat the sun. You're gonna just absorb all the attention. Or it's Sun Eater because, his quirks are digestion based. He eats something, he gets its power. Or it can also be him absorbing all the energy in the room because he's such a downer. There's so much going on in that name. There's so much going on with that character, and it's a shame he gets a couple chapters during the overhaul arc. And I already we called this ages ago, that he would just get cast aside because now there's nothing left to do with him. He's just eye candy now because he does have his followers. He does have his fans. There's literally a citizen hugging him going, I love you, Sun Eater. Don't ever leave us again. Which I think that's such a fun little cheeky nod by Horikoshi. He goes, I know you all love this guy, but there's no time because My Hero Academia is ending in 1 year's time. Basically, 49 chapters maximum from now, which I call BS on. There's no way. He's got to sell at least 2 more movies. At least 2 more movies. It was a 10-picture deal that they've since hidden away from, and at this point, the fact that it's supposed to end at the end of this year, now I'm like, okay, maybe it's not going to be 10 movies, but there's no way they're not going to try to get 7 or 8 in there. I should say 6, because we're only at 4 movies in right now, right? Or 3.
Do you imagine Horikoshi is overwhelmed? Because, My Hero Academia has now been around since 2014. It's 2022 now. So 8 years. He's, like, because I think we talked about this before, and how Horikoshi never really had, like, a breakout hit until My Hero Academia, and he was like the anti-Oda, like, he was just always there. He was always plugging away, and then he finally got it. And then he got, like, the phenomenon. He was the next Naruto. Right? No, literally. He replaced
Naruto. That's a lot to go from, like, you went from deep cut to, only hardcore manga readers know who you are. And suddenly now you are an overnight sensation. That is a lot to take in. Is he overwhelmed? No, not more so than any other mangaka. I think he's overwhelmed because Shonen Jump's work schedule is freaking a human rights violation. But in terms of overwhelmed by his success, he's been ready for this. Like like I said before, he was the anti-Oda. Oda did a couple pilots, and then boom, he was in. He assisted. He assisted, did a couple pilots, he got in. Horikoshi assisted, got a couple serializations that all just kind of fluttered out, and then he got My Hero after a couple pilots after that. He's been prepared for this. Horikoshi's best aspects as a writer come from his preparation. He is well practiced, he's very strong and built for this.
Do you feel, and this is a thought that I have, that maybe My Hero Academia will end, and if this 10-picture, let's say this 10-picture deal does go through, do you think he'd be more interested in fleshing out the world of My Hero Academia without Deku through movies?
You think he would become a consultant on the films?
Well, it's like Oda. Oda is a consultant on the films. He writes the films sometimes.
Most mangaka are, if they own the property, they most likely do consult. To what extent? That is not my place to say, because I'm not involved in that process.
I know for a fact that Oda tells them what powers they can and can't use. Because he's like, no, I want to use that power later. You can't have it.
Which is his right. And for Oda, if you told me that's all Oda does, that makes perfect sense. Because you just described Oda to a T. He just walks in and goes, what power's he using? And he sees what he likes, he goes, no, that's mine now. No, you can't have it. I already thought of that one. It's mine.
One Piece Film Red got announced a little while ago.
Yeah, it sure did.
A lot of people are really excited. Because the D in red has 3 scars on it, like Shanks. And at the end of the teaser, a picture of Shanks appears, and everyone's like, oh my fucking god. This is the Shanks movie.
I'm gonna laugh when Shanks is not involved.
Me too. But when I saw this
is the year Shanks makes his move. 5 years later.
He did literally.
That's Oda to a T.
He did literally say that for 2020, I think.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, that's why I made the joke.
But, I was really excited because I was like, oh my god, the Straw Hat Crew have done so much. I really like the One Piece movies. Stampede was good. It was all fan service, and that's nice.
You know me. I've only seen the Baron, the Island of the Baron. That's the only one I've seen.
So good.
I tried to start Gold the other night, but then I got distracted.
Gold is worth it. I think Gold is really.
It looks
up
worth
there.
it. It looks really good. What I saw, it looks really good. I want to watch it.
Are you ready for One Piece Ocean's 11?
Oh, that's what it looked like to me. Yeah,
Exactly.
So I swear I will get to it. I'll talk about it on the show.
Hell
because
yeah.
I love movie 6. I love the Island of the Baron.
Baron Matsuri's Secret Island is amazing. If I had to recommend people watch like one of the odd One Piece movies, that is just totally
I watched that before. I watched that years ago before I started watching One Piece just a couple months ago.
Yeah. I remember when you did.
And I
actually.
loved it.
It's a good movie. It's by the same person who did the Digimon movies, Summer Wars, Wolf Children. He's just a really great director and artist.
Yeah.
And the original Digimon part. But anyway, I was really excited because I was hoping for a Shanks movie, whether that be an origin, a Shanks adventure separate from Luffy and stuff like that, where the Straw Hats have a less involved part of it, because not
now
like
you
a
say
time
that,
travel
but
story.
have you seen the concept art?
I have, of course. Did you not see my tweet about how Usopp's death metal outfit is the coolest thing he's ever worn?
It's based. It's based.
It's based.
How can our man get more based?
He's so good, Usopp.
But yeah, no, I think this movie just happens to have Shanks in it, and they're banking off that, and they don't actually have it. Because I think Oda goes, nah, this is the year Shanks makes his move. You can't do this movie. And then we wait another 5 years.
Exactly. But I'm really hoping for this to have like at least 2 stories to it. Whatever the Straw Hats are doing, I'm pretty sure they're going to a music festival. Is what they're going to like freaking
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, they're going to like download festival of One Piece World or Glastonbury, something like that, with a wider range of music. But then I want there to be at least a B story on something about Shanks. I don't want time travel if there's fucking time travel, which, if you know, that there already is time travel, but they have literally been like, but you can't go back. These guys have gone forward, but they can't go back. No time travel bullshit. And I hope it stays that way, because time travel it's a whole mess. We both know this. It
can really make or break a story. More often than not, it breaks a story.
I still think it kind of broke Endgame. Endgame really. But we're not going to get into that.
Didn't even see it coming. And the only reason why I liked it is because I didn't see it coming.
Fair.
I was like, oh wait, this is a time heist. Interesting.
Yeah, I the thing that bothered me was especially the end where it was like Thanos can use the one Pym particle to take everyone, his entire army. You could say they're an advanced alien species, but I was like, this is a reach, I feel. But whatever, moving on. I kind of would like it if My Hero Academia expanded from Deku at the school with everyone that we know to other characters and things. Anything, because My Hero Academia, like One Piece, has such a vast, interesting world in how Horikoshi set it up that I really feel like he could go anywhere with it.
Yeah, but here's the thing about Horikoshi and Oda and all of them. They're not film directors. They're not screenwriters. They're mangaka. So if you want him to explore this, I would love a spin-off series. Because, I mean, look where Vigilantes went. Give me another one of those written by Horikoshi.
Be great.
Where let's focus on another group in that world. Yeah, I would love to see that. What realistically is going to happen? It's going to be Shippuden. He's the next Naruto. He's going to be the next Shippuden as well, because that's just the way the money crumbles.
I would rather him make a series, not My Hero Academia, but I don't know. Let's just say, put it out there, World of Heroes. From the World of Heroes. Or something. And then just have a bunch of different stories that he can make from that. Or have other artists collaborate with it on like a massive level, similar to Vigilantes, but on a bigger scale. Something like that would be cool. Because they're doing something like that with One Piece, where Boichi's Sanji, I believe. Or, no, he did Ace? Which one did Boichi do? The One Piece side stories.
Oh, that would have to be Boichi, because he was the artist.
Yeah, Boichi did that, like, I want to say it was a Sanji one. Oh, wait, no, it's the Shokugeki no Soma guy.
Shokugeki no Sanji, that's the guy who, yeah.
Yeah, and that was like a series. I thought it was just a one-shot, but then you informed me it was a series. I was like, what? Something like that would be cool. But how about this chapter, Ivan? 340.
Like I said, it's just All Might actually presenting the plan. And his plan is essentially his plan is essentially he needs to separate all the key members of the Paranormal Liberation Army.
So we can have them in clean, easy places for our characters to have their individual showdowns.
Exactly.
That was the first thing I thought. It's not even the plan. He literally said this isn't even the best plan or plan A or plan B. It is simply something that is imperative. We must do this, I believe he said.
But he said that they are stronger together. The only way this works, we have to divide them and conquer.
One part of this chapter I actually have a big issue with, and I feel it is because, and you know me, I don't dislike All For One as a villain, but I feel like maybe it comes from Horikoshi's, like, until recently, we've talked about this, and even he said it, his lack of ability to make a really grabbing fight scene at times. It is when All Might states that if we were to go against just All For One, and, I mean, I understand about Shigaraki. Shigaraki showed way more of a threat back in, the Hero War arc than All For One ever did in the All Might fight.
Yeah.
Do you feel that?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Like, I know he tore downtown apart, but Shigaraki literally obliterated the landscape.
Yep, and part of the reason is because All Might contained it. It was a testament to All Might's greatness. He contained this threat, and that's what made everything afterwards threatening, was the fact that All Might's gone. Now we need like 20 people to do All Might's job.
Now that I've said it, and I've thought about not My Hero Academia, the main line, but Vigilantes, where he does his, all around the world, save everyone, take in selfies while stopping the terrorists and, putting down the 2 million-ton building that's falling and has just been blown up. I think of that, I'm like, yeah, All Might's great.
Right.
That's just crazy. But what do you feel like was the most interesting part about this? Because I feel like it was Aizawa speaking to
Aoyama.
Aoyama, yes.
Yeah, and he just said, "Hey, gonna give it to you straight, kid. They're probably not gonna let you back into this course. Like, that's it. Like you're trapped. You're trapped. Like, basically, you have no choice. You gotta help us, because this is the end of the line." But, and again, why Aizawa was the best, he goes, "I'm sticking with you. I think no one else is gonna stick their neck out for you. I will, because you are my student first and foremost, and so you and me are right and dying. And so I thought that was a big Dick Aizawa moment right there.
It really was, and it is posed really well. I really love this specific panel where they are sat together. It reminds me of One Piece. It's very much not the same, but like how when Shanks gives Luffy his hat, the world disappears around them. They are in nothing but a white background with only like a bit of the floor.
Yeah, if you're reading this at home, folks, this is a very easy to discern scene because even his like restraints are gone. It's just the two character models.
Yeah, but it's a white line breaking Aoyama's silhouette, really.
Yeah, because that's where his navel laser is. Again, we talked about how Sun Eater. There's so much going on. There's so much going on in this panel because again, remember, this is a racer head. He can erase quirks. Aoyama wouldn't even need to be in restraints right now because if Aizawa just looks at him, there's no navel laser. Again, there's a lot going on here. This is a very masterful panel. But also, it could be foreshadowing. This might be one of those heroic sacrifices.
I want to point out, when I said I didn't like this chapter, I thought we were going into 339.
Oh, did you? I mean, like I said, we've been kind of up in the air about how much we've been covering. Because not much has been happening, and we're hoping, and that's why I'm getting excited, because this week, finally, I doubt it, because at the end of this week, they showed Shinso, so I'm like, oh, okay, it's going to be another Hatsume chapter where we have to see where Shinso's at the moment.
How do you feel about the little pins that All Might seem to have cobbled together to represent Shigaraki and All for One?
Yeah, I noticed that shit. I'm glad. It's nice that he has free time.
Yeah, it's just like...
to do some DIY crafting. It's not like the world's ending or anything.
A really badly drawn hand and what looks... And I know it's All for One's face, but it took me a minute to be like, oh...
It looked like the Funimation logo.
It does. But I didn't like the start of this chapter. I find the exposition on the plan...
Well, me, it's the fact that they keep explaining New Order like it's fucking relevant still. Shut up. No one cares. I said it during Saturday Jump. I don't care how New Order works. Show, don't tell. And you showed. She parasitizes quirk. Is it still relevant? I thought he expunged it already. I thought it was literally like... I thought he had to, like, give it out to someone else.
He gave it to a jobber and then probably killed
him. Yeah, exactly. So why do I give a damn about this quirk? Other than, I guess, All Might's explaining why. I guess now, again, it's not All Might explaining to the cast why All for One wasn't involved in that fight with Shigaraki. It's the fact that the audience continues to cry and whine and demand an explanation for every fucking detail. He had to explain to the audience why All for One was not involved in that fight. It's like, who cares? It was a badass fight.
I found that explanation rather bullshit as well, because as far as I knew, maybe I'm wrong, but All for One wasn't aware of what Stars and Stripes quirk actually was.
No, he knew, and that's what All Might's explained, the fact that he knew, and that's why he wasn't there.
But if he knew, why didn't Shigaraki know?
Because All for One doesn't tell Shigaraki shit, because Shigaraki is still an impulsive child. The last traces of his personality that are awesome is the fact that he continues to rush in. This is the guy who continues to still have hubris. I like how Horikoshi, I like how All Might's like, hey, we gotta separate these two. I don't want All for One involved in the final fight. Bitch, me too. I don't want All for One here ever fucking again. I don't want him in the Vigilantes final fight. I don't want him in this story anymore. Same, bro. Mood.
But
the fact of the matter is they are stronger together. They're two pieces of a whole now. And so to separate them is the only way they get a chance. So who's going up against All for One? Who's fighting? Obviously, Midoriya is fighting Shigaraki. They're separating Dabi. They're making a huge point to separate Dabi. So there's going to be Todoroki's fight. I'm hoping Endeavor's there too. If not, who the hell is fighting All for One? Is All Might gonna fight All for One in the final fight?
Is it gonna get the All Might mech? Like Batman Beyond Bruce Wayne?
The All Might, the Batmobile mech?
Yeah. Like,
who the hell knows?
Batman Beyond Bruce Wayne. That show was sick. I always try to bring this up in some capacity. But yeah, a thought occurs to me, by the way. So, Midoriya has stake in this. everyone technically has stake in this. It might very well be the end of society as we know it, obviously.
Well, here's the thing, like the fact that they're going to separate into teams, this means I really like this. This means that between now, if he gets this thing freaking moving between now and the finale, now we're going to get individual fights. Or group fights. Like, obviously, there's going to be a Team Ochako going up against Toga, because the girls have to fight the girls, because equality and all that.
Because Midoriya can't, Delaware smash Toga in the freaking eye.
Because that wouldn't be, like, really awesome and well-deserved.
That's not what heroes do.
Exactly. So we're gonna get Todoroki versus Dabi. Team Todoroki, whoever's with him, is gonna fight Dabi. Ochako is going to fight Toga. Midoriya is going to fight Shigaraki. My God, would it not be badass if there was a Bakugo team going up against All for One?
I was literally going to say,
we need a very strong team. If we're gonna separate them and fight, there's gotta be a strong team. And my God, if we get Kirishima and like just get the toughest guys on All for One, holy crap, that's gonna screw the Shigaraki fight. That's the fight I want to see. If there's anything that keeps me interested in an All for One fight, it's characters we never ever get to see much ever fight him. That's cool.
That's exactly what I was gonna ask. Who does Bakugo have to fight?
His inner demons.
Unless someone...
It's gonna be a team up. We know how this is going to go. It's gonna be Midoriya and Bakugo together.
Midoriya are going to hold hands and punch him at the same time.
And it's gonna be hella gay. I'm gonna love it.
But that's what I mean. Like, I really don't think we'll get that. It would be cool. I actually agree, because I was gonna say,
if things were of face value, and Horikoshi said, yeah, all that material I used in Heroes Rising is not going to happen again, because that was the original plan, and that's not the plan anymore. I still don't believe him. I still feel like we're getting a version of that, because the movies keep doing a version of things we see in the manga.
That seems to be a running thing with a lot of anime movies. The One Piece movies, for example. I'm not going to go too long on this.
The Dragon Ball movies most iconically.
Yes, but One Piece movies too. One Piece movie 4, Dead End Adventure, one of my favorite movies actually. The fight mimics many things from the crocodile fight in the anime, like, the Gum Gum Chomp or whatever, where he like eats a part of him, and then it turns out I'm made of sand, you can't eat me, whatever. I'm made of candy stuff, you can't eat me. Same thing, kind of, that kind of stuff. But I was literally going to say, could Bakugo fight All for One? Because All for One did orchestrate the capture of Bakugo for the most part.
Yes.
So that seems like the character that Bakugo probably... A moment of great vulnerability for Bakugo.
When he was trying to recruit Bakugo, the whole point of that was to recruit Bakugo.
Yeah.
To his side.
So if anything, I actually kind of agree with you. That would be a great matchup for Bakugo, because it's a moment of vulnerability and that test.
I think, in so many levels, that would be awesome.
It was a test for Bakugo. It was a real big test for him.
Okay, so here's the thing. Let's have our cake and eat it too. Bakugo and Midoriya are gonna be on opposite teams. Midoriya's gonna fight Team Shigaraki. Bakugo's gonna be on Team All for One. I think at some point they are separated, but at some point they get back together, and that's when Midoriya and Bakugo team up. I think that's how this is moving.
I would hope so. It seems like these teams are going to be very spread out, though, because they literally said...
You know who needs to be on team against All for One? Mirio.
Yes.
Why the hell did we bring Mirio back? And you know what? Actually, I'm sorry. He's going to be on Team Shigaraki, because the touching thing.
Maybe, yes, probably. But you know what?
There was someone who was well designed to fight Shigaraki. It's Mirio.
Is Overhaul still potentially a problem again? Or is he done? I can't remember. The last time I think we saw him was the Nagant fight.
It pisses me off. It really pisses me off, because I thought he was set up for the Vigilante arc, and then he just wasn't there. He was just kind of like, he was a pawn.
He wasn't even a pawn. He was just...
Well, but he was used because Midoriya tried to rescue him. Basically, Nagant tried to take advantage of the fact that Midoriya rescued him to get her shot, and Midoriya just kind of hard worked his way to victory. If Overhaul shows up again, I pray it is as an ally.
Because he has big beef with Shigaraki, obviously.
I feel like there's still a moment to have with his Yakuza boss, where he goes like, yo, fuck these villains, fuck all this, like, you gotta have a sense of honor.
Yeah.
And Shiger and Overhaul has to kind of look at the situation and go, there's really no honor in what the villains are doing. And I'm not necessarily on Midoriya's side, but I'm like, I don't want the world destroyed. If the world's all gone and destroyed, I can't profit off it. And I feel like they're going to find some stakes for Overhaul to side with the heroes and be of use in the final fight.
And Eri.
And have a moment with Eri.
And
because,
Eri needs to spit in his face. Eri literally needs to spit in his face.
Yeah, because the audience is demanding it. I could give a rat's ass, because I don't think Eri even gives a shit either. I think she's just happy to be out of the situation. But the audience is going to want that closure. And so, I mean, we do need another Overhaul moment. I demand it for the abridged.
We both know Eri... We've known it for a while. We knew it the instant she showed up and basically, like, you know... was like, no, Midori, you can go all fucking out. Nothing stopping you. She's gonna be, and always has been, a key part of this whole thing.
Yeah, I still believe in Bakugo theory.
I think she is going to be the key, actually, to reversing Shigaraki somehow to a previous state that All For One is not linked to.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think she gets the final shot, honestly.
She's gonna jump out of the fucking bushes with like.
Yeah, gotcha, fuckers.
Yeah. Just a convenient bush that hasn't been wasted, or maybe in Midoriya's desk. Midoriya's like, huh, I led you here on purpose, and Eri will jump out of the goddamn desk like a little person from behind a goddamn seat cushion.
Yep. We can speculate all day, but it's gonna end in a year.
Imagine Eri strangling. Imagine Eri strangling with her tiny hands.
Eri with eraser head bandages too, like Shinso, strangling All For One.
No, I want her to like get big hands and strangle over or something. Her tiny hands just wrapped around his neck.
She doesn't absorb quirks though. She just undoes things. She reverses things. We know at the very least we know that Eri's going to reverse like all the deaths and all the lost quirks.
What if she reverses his broken hands? What if she reverses his lost hands out of mercy?
Overhaul? Oh, she's absolutely going to do that. If Overhaul sides with the heroes at the end, that's what Eri's going to be there to do. Like, hey, forgive, but don't forget. Here's your hands back. Better make them useful.
Yeah, she's like, your hands are not for her. It's like Edward Elric in Fullmetal Alchemist. Your hands are for her.
I will take them. If you use these to hurt again, I will take them right back. Because there's probably some loophole in my quirk where I can undo what I undid.
Probably. Yeah. What I did like about this chapter is how many characters we saw, actually. And they've been doing this a fair bit.
At least 6.
Yeah, they've been doing a fair.
I'm going to judge 6 characters.
Okay, it's Aoyama, it's Boss Cop, which actually I liked his input actually on the Aoyama thing, where he was like, considering my position, like I kind of have a good judgment on this and I thought initially he was like in my authority as someone who is in charge of this and cares about like what he did. But then I realized, no, it's because he was born quirkless. And he didn't, like, obviously go the way that but, I mean, he was around. Oh, God, it's so weird. All For One has been around for so long, it's like, yes, this was always an option, apparently, for many people. Which I thought was interesting. But we see, Cat Cop. We see, as I pointed out to you before this even started, freaking Club Penguin. I know now he's supposed to be a Yoshi. But it's Club fucking Penguin. And also, like I said for the previous chapter, we got to look at characters that we really don't see anymore, or barely, in, I want to say his name is Shinso, the mine guy?
Yes.
Yes, I got it then. Yes. And my phone seems to have frozen. So, do you think that is just a look at him? And we even got the 2 shitheads who are like, yeah, your music festival thing's freaking dumb.
Oh, yeah, I recognize them too.
Yeah, I was like,
yeah.
Man,
good character economy.
Yeah, no, I was like, oh, okay, it's good. Like I said, we've been seeing.
Get them in.
You are right.
Why design new characters when you can just throw in ones you already designed? Yeah, no, next chapter, we're getting one more chapter. We're going to get a check-in with Shinso. We're going to check out on everybody. And then it's going to pop off. I believe, like, the optimist in me believes that this is just Horikoshi just, like, he's, like, on half-brained, like, autopilot right now. Because he's storing his strength and his planning and his energy for when things pop off again, like they did during the war arc.
Right.
Because, again, we're complaining that things have been happening, but we have been spoiled since from War Arc to the end of the Stars and Stripes battle, we have been spoiled for quality chapters. It's been over a year, like a year and a half, maybe 2 full years of just the best shonen I've seen in a while. Now he's buying time because he's like, I've got to pre-plan, I've got to pre-set up, I got to work ahead. And then when it happens, and pray that it's that nonstop like it was before. But that being said, he says it's going to end at the end of this year. That gives us 45 maximum chapters at this point. But there will be breaks, there will be hiatuses. So let's say 40 chapters. He can end in 40 chapters. I do not believe him one bit. I think we're going to spring of next year. Because if we're talking, because we gotta, because he can say what he wants about it ending, but Shonen is going to want a placeholder until they get their next crop, which will probably happen in the springtime. It's usually the spring and the fall is when they get their newbies in.
Overall thoughts on this chapter then? I think there's quite a few good things in it.
I'm happy that something finally happened. Multiple things, actually. Like I said, All Might's presenting the plan. Aizawa is being the badass that he always is, but even more so.
I always love, ever since I watched Assassination Classroom, the dynamic between a good teacher and their students, where when these people have no one to really turn to, these people can be like, a guide for them, and a good one at that. Because I never appreciated my teachers in school, admittedly, for putting up with my shit when I went through my bad boy phase.
Right.
How are we doing on time?
This is, I think, where we're actually going to wrap up today, because I know there was a brand new manga that you were very excited to talk about.
Yes.
But
yes, I am.
The thing is, we have a guest coming next week, and she's read this too. And I would like a chance to read it too before we talk about it, because I haven't read it yet because I've been so busy.
Well, you know what? I think that is actually absolutely reasonable.
Yeah. So what is the name of that manga, Val, so that our audience can also read up on it before next week?
Yomi no Sugai. The brand new manga from the author of Full Metal Alchemist, probably, I believe, the first new thing that she has independently made herself, not like drawing up illustrations for something that is already like made and not written by her. It is just Hiromu Arakawa, and I am really looking forward to it.
So yeah, I've been hearing good things. It keeps sliding out of my read list. I'm gonna read it this week, and I keep missing it. I swear I will get to it this week, because I would love to have this discussion with you and the guest who's coming. Who is it? Find out next week.
Hell yeah. I'm really looking forward to it because, honestly, reading the first chapter, it only has one chapter right now, and it would be very good if, hopefully, by the time we get back next... is it next week, or are we going on hiatus next week?
Not next week. Next week, we're going to have the guest. It'll be the following week where we have a hiatus.
Okay, sick, just making sure. But I'm really looking forward to it, hopefully having another chapter next week, so I can get a better gauge on what exactly is going on with this.
Yeah, I want to catch up. I do want to talk a lot because I really love Full Metal Alchemist. I love that mangaka, and I've heard good things about this series. I want to see what it's about, and I need something new to read, Val. Okay? I lost Hunter's Guild. I lost Boys Run the Riot. I need something new, and I need something good, something that hooks my attention. So I'm going to raise my expectations unreasonably high and get myself disappointed. That's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do. Okay, so before we sign off, all right, I've been alluding, I've been joking with the title, but this is not a joke. I'm not here to have a discussion about this, Val. I'm just here to make a statement about the casting of Kimberly Ann Campbell in my Don't Mess With Me Nagatoro.
Oh.
What started off as just one stupid racist joke and people platforming this because they can't help themselves but quote retweet when they shouldn't do that, this opened up a greater discussion about diversity casting in anime. And as I brought up in the beginning of the show, the fact that one of my biggest concerns is about the well-being of talent. And although I'm not going to have a discussion about diversity in anime voice acting because I am not of that diversity, neither are you, Val. I feel like they are the ones who need to speak about that. Our only place is to defend that, which we do. But what I wanted to briefly make my statement upon is the fact that I'm very disappointed to see a couple directors in my field who have talked about the fact that it is not their place to not only make this statement, but also not to defend their talent when they are being ridiculed just by the virtue of their existence. I find that to be a weakness in directing. I feel like you are in a privileged position. Again, it is an art. It's not just an art form to be a director. It is a privilege. You have a relationship with your talent. You work with them together to make art. You're not there to be cost effective. You have to be in the business sense, but this is the difference between those who actually want to have a real relationship with their talent and those who are now weighing the cost effectiveness of buying the rights to someone's voice and not have to worry about the number of takes and the hours to pay them. I just find this very weak and very disappointing when you actually openly make statements about the fact that you're not going to defend your talent. I don't like that. That's the statement I wanted to make. Kimberly, you did an amazing job. If I ever come across working with you, it will be a fucking honor. That's all I want to say. Thanks for a great show today, Val. The NFT the discussion that actually went even more. I thought that was going to be the throwaway joke at the beginning of the show, but we actually had a great discussion about that.
No, we did.
I thought that was great.
Now that you mention it as well, AI voice acting, it also completely cuts out things like race and whatnot, and even to a degree,
and
the potential of things like controversy in these things.
And the fact that you just brought that up, I've been talking, because basically what I've been doing right now, I've been recording for the next My Hero Bridge movie, and a lot of this has been a big discussion. I've been having this discussion a million times during recording sessions this week, and there's a lot of people I want to actually bring into the show, because this is not a fad topic. This is not what's happening now. This is going to be an ongoing thing for many years to come. And at some point, there's a few voice actors and a few sound engineers in our sphere in our network that I would love to bring on the show and actually talk who are from this perspective, who can actually really talk about these issues. I would love to have them on the show, and hold me to that, audience. We should definitely do that. But otherwise, for now, we're going to wrap up today, rest our voices, and be back next week for a less dire, more fun topic on a brand new manga from an artist and writer that we do really enjoy. Until then, everyone, I forgot, we don't have a sign off. The audience just exits the train. Yeah, just get off the train. This is your stop, audience.
Yeah, no, you just talk. Yeah, go on, get out. Go,
get out.
Go,
me
go.
and Val, I'm gonna
choo.
This is a train robbery. Get off.
Mind the gap as you exit our podcast safely. Rebuild of JoyCast is hosted by Ivan LeRoy and Valentine Stokes. LeRoy's written and directed works can be found on the JoyRide Entertainment YouTube channel and the soon-to-be-released original web manga, PARAMEDIC. Val's dulcet tones can be heard in many of your favorite anime and web series, such as RWBY, Death Battle, Dragon Goes House Hunting, Lackadaisy Cats, and more. This episode was edited by Steena Carey, with YouTube version edited by Cody Rock. Music provided by Lofi Geek. Intro and outro narration by Steena Carey. Outro music composed by Michael Pejovich. Logo and visuals designed by Ivan LeRoy. Rebuild of JoyCast is produced by JoyRide Entertainment and Rock Voice Productions LLC, and made possible thanks to Patreon donations from generous listeners like you. This month's highest tiered Patreon producers are Mr. Host, Austin, and Gooner Bear. If you would like your name shouted out at the end of each podcast, an invite to our private Discord to interact with fans, cast and crew, or early access to all of our content, be sure to check out JoyRide Entertainment's Patreon. Links provided in the description. Thank you for keeping JoyRide's engine burning.